Lately, you've probably noticed you don't bounce back the way you used to. A late night used to cost you nothing. Now it takes 2 days to recover from. Stairs feel a little steeper than they should. By evening, the energy just isn't there the way it used to be. You've probably told yourself it's just age. And in a way, it is. But just age isn't actually an explanation. It's a label we use when we don't know the mechanism. What if I told you scientists do know the mechanism? Several of them, in fact, and that they're specific, measurable, and increasingly well understood? So here's the truth. You're not imagining any of this. It isn't only about diet or exercise, even though both matter enormously. There's a specific, well-documented set of processes happening inside your cells behind that feeling, processes your doctor may never have had a reason to walk you through, simply because explaining them in plain language is still fairly new. Today, I want to walk you through 3 of those processes. And here's the thing. Each one has its own natural fix that researchers have already identified. We'll take them one at a time, starting with the one hiding inside the batteries of every single cell in your body. Quick aside, but if you watched our video on zombie cells, you already know that some of your cells stop functioning properly but refuse to clear out. Something similar happens with your mitochondria, the tiny structures inside every cell that produce your energy. As you age, damaged mitochondria pile up faster than your body can recycle them. And that's a big part of why energy and muscle function decline over time. Your body has a recycling process for worn-out mitochondria, the power plants inside your cells. It's called mitophagy, and one of the most studied compounds linked to it is urolithin A. Here's the twist. You don't really get urolithin A directly from food. Your gut bacteria make it by converting compounds found in pomegranates, walnuts, and berries. So your microbiome helps decide how much of this molecule your body can produce. In 2016, researchers at the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology in Lausanne reported that urolithin A activated mitophagy in roundworms and rodents, extending lifespan in worms and improving muscle function in aging animals. Then, in a 2022 human trial, urolithin A supplementation was linked with about a 12% improvement in muscle strength, plus markers of better mitochondrial performance. But not everyone's gut bacteria make it equally well. Researchers call this your metabotype, basically your personal conversion ability. That's pathway 1. Pathway 2 is autophagy, your cell's cleanup system. Think of autophagy like an overnight housekeeping crew. While you sleep, your cells identify damaged proteins, worn-out parts, and molecular clutter, then break them down so useful pieces can be recycled. But this cleanup slows with age. That's where spermidine gets interesting. Spermidine is a natural compound your body makes in small amounts, and it's also found in wheat germ, mushrooms, aged cheese, and legumes. A 20-year population study from Bruneck, Italy, tracking more than 800 adults, found that people with higher dietary spermidine intake had lower mortality over time, a difference researchers compared to being almost 6 years biologically younger. So that's 2 pathways down. The third one isn't about recycling at all, it's about how well your cells hold up under everyday stress in the first place. The third piece is how efficiently your cells produce energy while defending themselves against everyday oxidative stress, the normal wear and tear of metabolism. Those defenses become less efficient with age too, which is part of why fatigue and slower recovery creep in. One of the most studied natural compounds supporting this pathway is resveratrol, found in the skin of red grapes and, in smaller amounts, red wine. It activates a family of proteins called sirtuins, which help regulate cellular energy production and stress resistance. Harvard researcher David Sinclair's team showed back in 2006 that resveratrol improved health and survival in mice on a high-calorie diet, essentially helping their cells cope with metabolic stress more efficiently. Bore et al., 2006, Nature. Since then, human studies have shown more modest, but still measurable improvements in markers like mitochondrial function, though, and this is worth being honest about, the dramatic lifespan effects seen in some animal studies haven't fully translated to humans yet. That's exactly the kind of distinction worth knowing before you spend money on anything.
None of these three compounds is a miracle pill, and none of them replaces sleep, movement, or a decent diet. The evidence is clear that those foundations matter more than any supplement. But if you're looking to support these three specific pathways, the research points toward a few practical starting points. For urolithin A, eating more pomegranates, walnuts, and berries gives your gut bacteria the raw material to make it. But because conversion varies so much from person to person, a standardized urolithin A supplement is the more reliable way to get the dose actually used in the human muscle strength trial. For spermidine, the Bruneck study's benefit came from diet. Wheat germ, mushrooms, aged cheeses, and legumes are the richest natural sources, so this is one where food first is a completely reasonable approach. For resveratrol, look for supplements standardized to trans resveratrol, the form used in most of the research. And be aware that it can interact with blood-thinning medication, so this is one to discuss with your doctor if you're on any anticoagulants. But if you're looking to support these three specific pathways, the research points toward a few practical starting points. If you want to start today without adding a single supplement, the simplest move is dietary. More berries, more mushrooms, a handful of walnuts. If you want to go further, I've linked the specific standardized forms of each of these three compounds that match what was actually used in the research in the description below. Always worth a quick conversation with your doctor first, especially if you're on any regular medication. The bigger picture here is genuinely encouraging. Aging isn't just one process happening to you. It's several separate, identifiable pathways, and each one of them is something you actually have some influence over. That's the real story behind why these three unglamorous, decades-old natural compounds keep showing up in the newest longevity research. Next time, we're picking up right where this leaves off. The specific gut bacteria researchers are now linking to how efficiently your body clears out damage in the first place.
If you haven't subscribed yet, this is the moment. Here at the Nutraceutical Scientist, we translate the latest research on longevity, healthy aging, and evidence-based nutraceuticals into practical advice you can use every day. Subscribe, and new episodes arrive every Monday and Friday. Until we meet again this Monday, stay healthy, stay curious, and remember, every healthy choice you make today is an investment in the life you'll live tomorrow.